Hey Night Nation, it's Andrew Carson with Night News, and we are back at the Bounce House, and it is now homecoming. We are excited to be back home because we picked up our first on-the-road win against the Temple Owls. And of course, as always, we're joined by our sports reporter, Collin Allen. Thank you, Collin, for being here again. It's very exciting to be here on homecoming. Like I said, we picked up our first win on the road last week. How were we able to get that done? What did we do differently that we did not do earlier on in the season?
Yep, so last week we saw freshman quarterback Mikey King finally start to get into a rhythm. He threw for over 200 yards and the career-high 5 touchdown passes. And prior to that, we saw King tend to struggle with the typical rookie quarterback mistakes, whether that was misfiring on overthrows to receivers, failing to identify the open receiver down the field, or just simply trying to do too much. So if Mikey King could carry last week's success over onto this week, I think UCF's offense can put a lot of points on the board against a struggling Tulane defensive unit.
And another exciting thing for the Knights entering homecoming today against the Tulane Green Wave is that we are undefeated at home. Very excited. We have won all of our home games for the 2021 season, and admittedly, Tulane has suffered. They're only 1-7 on the season, but if there are any disadvantages for UCF going up against the Green Wave, what has Tulane done successfully at this point in the season that we should look out for if they score the upset against the Knights?
Sure. So the biggest strength of this Tulane team is its run game, which consists of their young rushing duo of Cameron Carroll and Tyjae Spears. Last weekend versus Cincinnati, Tulane was missing their starting quarterback, so they relied heavily on this rushing duo, where we saw Spears and Carroll run for a combined total of 170 yards and a rushing touchdown. In the past 2 weeks, we've seen UCF's run defense step it up after allowing Cincinnati to run for over 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. So I think UCF's run defense can definitely stop this dynamic duo if they continue to build off of the momentum from the past 2 weeks.
Now, Collin, you said that off camera. Listen, UCF is back. It's very exciting. Going into the Temple game last week, the UCF defense was giving up, on average, 40 points a game. We held them to 7 last week. UCF may be back. But what have they done specifically in the past couple games that Knight fans should be excited for? Well, we're 1 win away today against being bowl eligible, and we're playing the top 25 team next week in SMU. What have they done better going into these past 2 games?
Yep, so the past 2 weeks, like I've said, the run defense has taken a huge step forward. After allowing Cincinnati to run for, like I said, over 300 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns, they've limited Temple and Memphis to only 7 points each. So if UCF's run defense can continue to step up, they can definitely stop this rushing duo of Carroll and Spears today. And on top of that, like I said, Mikey King has definitely been playing his best football. Last weekend, like I said, he had a career-high 5 touchdowns. So if King can continue to be successful today, I think UCF's offense can pick off of his success and put a lot of points on the board against a struggling Tulane defensive unit today.
Now, ever since Dylan Gabriel, our starting quarterback this season, got injured, UCF has had, admittedly, a harder time scoring points. But last week, we were able to put up 49 against the Temple Owls. So things look exciting today against the Tulane Green Wave. I have to ask, what is your official score prediction on homecoming for the UCF Knights against the Tulane Green Wave?
I think Mikey King rides the wave. I think he builds off of last week's success. I think UCF's offense builds off of Mikey King's success as well. I think this UCF offense will put a lot of points on the board. So I'm going to go 52-13 Knights.
There you go, Knights. An official score prediction from our sports reporter, Collin Allen. A big win projected here against the Tulane Green Wave for homecoming. As always, check our social media accounts with Night News and nightnews.com for more updates throughout the game and throughout today.